What's up, guys? Whether you're new to Aspire or you've been here for a long time, we all want results, and the quickest way to get there is intensity. Today I want to talk a little bit about how we can best modify our workouts in order to get the results we really want. So here's the deal. First of all, we have to specify exactly what we want to get out of the workouts and how to best achieve that. If our main goal is to increase our strength, we need to do strength work. You're not necessarily going to get stronger during our conditioning work. We want to do separate strength work either in class or outside of class in order to gain that strength. If we want to increase our gymnastics, we got to do our skill work. We're not going to learn how to do great muscle ups inside a conditioning workout. We need to do that workout outside of class or within our skill work in class. But here's the deal. Intensity is the quickest road and the shortest road to recovery. If we want to increase that lean muscle, decrease that body fat, increase that aerobic capacity, and increase our overall fitness, intensity is the answer. So, in order to do that, how should we kind of fit that intensity into our workout? So here's the deal. During our conditioning work, we should be constantly moving for the entire time. And we should be what? Meeting the stimulus of the Metcon. So we always talk about what to get out of the Metcon. You need to make sure, if you want results, that your Metcons are intense and you're needing to demand the stimulus that we've talked about that day. We want to make sure we're slightly above the average. So when we look on SugarWOD, that's not only a great place to log your own workouts to make sure that we're getting better all the time, but also is a way to compare yourself to the average of others. We want to make sure, if we want results, that you are above average every single day. So I'll give you some examples later on that, but if you're towards the bottom of that, unless you are being conscious and specifically working on something that's going to make you slower or not as many rounds that day, we want to be above average. So picking movements and picking loads and picking rep schemes that are going to help you meet that demand. And our coaches can always help you out with that. Next on the list of how to achieve that intensity, we want to pick one fight for the day. All right, so Coach Sarah talks a lot about this. If we have 3 movements for the day, for example, we should not be fighting on all 3. That's not going to lead to very high intensity for the workout. We want to only choose one fight for the day, one thing we want to work through, and be intentional with that, okay? Moving on, we want to work on strength and skills outside of the conditioning. Working on those things during the conditioning are going to take away from your ability to get results. They're not going to give you the ability to get as strong as you can or to get as great at the movement as you could if you did it outside of our conditioning work. Within that conditioning work, we need to pick movements that we are proficient at, that are safe, and that we can move at high intensities. And lastly, pick 1 to 2 days a week to work on that in the Metcon. So we definitely can choose 1 or 2 workouts within the week if we're coming a lot to work on those movements. So maybe we're not meeting the exact stimulus of the workout, we're not achieving the exact intensity that we would otherwise to get the results that we want, but we're using that workout to really work on that movement. Your goal of that day is something specific and you're intentional at picking that movement. So here's some examples of how you can make that intensity. Here is workouts that we did on Tuesday and workouts that we did today in class. So Tuesday was every 7 minutes for 4 rounds. 25 calorie row for the men, 20 calorie row for the ladies, 20 dumbbell lunges, and 25 toes to bar, okay? We talked about the intensity of the stimulus being intense, so constantly moving for that period of time. We had a work to rest ratio in there, built-in rest. So the goal was to work as hard as you possibly could in a small amount of time, rest and recover and repeat. We wanted to be even with our 4 rounds. So not starting at 3 minutes and finishing at 6 minutes, but being fairly consistent throughout the 4 rounds. And last one was definitely under 6 minutes. We wanted at least 1 minute of rest every single round, if not more than that. Our fastest time of the day was 3:34 for the slowest round. So these are the slowest rounds people did. 3:34 was the fastest average. And 6:59, so just a second under our time cap. So basically what we need to do to repeat, 6:59 for that slowest of the day. Our averages were about 5 minutes. So remember, we logged our slowest of the 4 rounds that day, and that's where we ended up. So if we're trying to get results, we need to achieve that intensity. Where should we have been in this workout? We should have modified either the reps, the movements, or the load, probably the load on the lunges, and the movement maybe on the toes to bar if we're not proficient at those, in order to be around this 5-minute average every single round. If you did not do that, you were not achieving the results that we wanted to that day. That was the stimulus of the day, and therefore not really getting the intensity that we want. So this is where we want to be. We want to be about average or better to achieve that intensity to get the best results. Here's another result. AMRAP 12 is today's workout. 1 squat snatch, 3 clean and jerks, 30 double unders. The stimulus today is 4 to 6 or more rounds. That's what we want to be. So we want to be around about every 2 minutes or so. In this workout, this is a good example of picking your fight. So if your goal is to get stronger, maybe we do a nice heavy squat snatch. Our clean and jerks will be able to push through pretty quickly, and then you better be proficient at dubs because you went heavy on that snatch, so you're gonna need a little break after those double unders. However, if we're not proficient at dubs, that would be a good opportunity to we could go heavy, and do 60 singles instead. Keep moving because you're not proficient at that movement yet. That way you can still achieve 4 to 6 rounds. Maybe your fight was the double unders. You really want to get better at that and work on your 30 dubs. So we need to make sure the squat snatch and the clean and jerk are quick. You need to get through that with proficient movement and great technique in order to get to the dubs, because you're going to fight through that and struggle on that a little bit. That's still going to give you the ability to finish in that 4 to 6 round range. So the basis of this, guys, is I want you to get results. We want you to get results here. And the best way to do that is high intensity interval training. We want you to be safe and efficient at those movements, and we need you to be proficient at those movements. So we can always work on those things outside of class time or within class time during our skill and strength portion. But during those conditioning workouts, we really need to work on that intensity. The shortest way to results is intensity, so let's make sure that we meet the demand and the stimulus of the day, and we get after those intense workouts where we're lying on the ground after, taking a slow lap to decrease our heart rate, and we're beat after those workouts because we pushed ourselves so hard. So scale, modify, and tailor these workouts to you in order to get the results you need.